Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Hakim Ziyech. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
I was tempted not to turn up today, a bit like Christopher Nkunku on Saturday night. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod. I'm joined in the virtual room filled with some lions. I got Berth, I got Chris, I got my cat Tom, who's trying to pull my headphone cable off me. But of course, what were your moments of the weekend? What were they?
To be fair, I'm getting a bit boring these days in my highlights of the weekend. I played golf. That was quite good. Yeah, it's a bit cold at the minute, but yeah, I love my golf on a weekend, so that's probably my highlight.
Channeling your Gareth Bale there.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm slowly sort of my footballing career's on the slow down, shall we say? The retirement tour started, so I'm gonna
golf, pod, football in that order.
Yeah, definitely 100% at the minute, yeah.
What about you, Chris?
Easy one for me.
Yeah,
Daughter was a mascot at Chelsea Women on Sunday.
Pretty awesome.
Easily one of the most heartwarming experiences I've ever had.
Damn right.
Just to see her reaction. I mean, she was crying in the tunnel when she met everyone. The whole experience, the whole day, aside from the fact that it was freezing, shame it weren't, April or May, but aside from the weather, probably one of the best experiences of my life, and definitely the best experience of hers.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is really good. Yeah,
that is really good. Right. So my highlight. I knocked out a tactical 7 p.m. power nap for 4 solid hours of pre-game hibernation, listener.
I'll tell you what, Mikey, I'm glad you said nap then. I'm really glad you said nap.
That's a long one, that is. Come on, I'm not that great. But look, Super Bowl Sunday, what a game. What a game. I know certain listeners aren't listening to this pod at the moment because they don't want to get spoilers, so that's cool. You can catch up later, I know. But yeah, watching a team absolutely steamroll the Kansas City Chiefs was just bliss. I did crash about 3 a.m. for another 3 hours of shut eye, but it was worth every second of sleep deprivation. It was. Football-wise, Kevin Rodriguez, that's not his name, Rodriguez, strike against Rizespor for Kasimpasa. That was insane in the Turkish league. That's if you haven't seen it, it's a once in a lifetime strike. It was pure chaos. I'm in love with Anthony at Real Betis. I mean, 2 games and man of the match in both. I mean, I don't care that it's fan voted. He has been reasonably decent in both games. Kind of shows that United aren't the issue. United
it is weird that Man United, like everyone who leaves Man United seems to be doing so much better.
It's true. And one final one, I only remembered it because I only saw it today. Someone calling Dion Dublin a wanker and him inviting them outside for a fight.
that was funny. That was funny. The magic of the cup, eh?
The magic of the cup, and the listener that was probably the listener. Wasn't hoping it wasn't a listener. The one who offered him out clearly didn't see Dion Dublin's headbutt on Robbie Savage back in the early noughties. Because if you did,
bit of a dark horse, I think, Dion Dublin in a scrap.
You think he took out Savage with a headbutt, so
I wouldn't mess with Dublin. Footballers from the 90s are tough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he'd show you a right hook and the stairs up to the bedrooms. So,
yeah.
Oh, right. So, time to hit some news. This is the 2 quickest stories that I found from the weekend because they're going to generate us clicks. They will. So, first is our Conference League squad. And I just want to say the surprise inclusion of Mykhailo Mudryk, because some people have been hamping that up and saying this could be a sign he's going to return. It could mean the negative B sample has happened. It's in the post. I personally think you're reading into this, listener. I think because we were only allowed to make 3 changes to the squad, and all the 3 players that were kicked out are no longer at the club. They've
Yeah,
been
that'll
sent
do
out
it.
on. I genuinely think that's why we did it, because Mudryk, we don't know one way or the other. I don't think it's some little naughty background information we've got info on. I think it's just that why have a player in your squad that you guarantee is not here to the end of the season versus a player that we don't know if they're going to get banned or not. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else? It's yeah.
I mean, the problem is these days, especially with like social media and stuff, fans just read into everything and they'll believe everything that's said online, and it's just a very, very weird place, social media. And I think, sometimes common sense just gets lost in the shuffle when you're on there. So
They're always looking for a story, though, aren't they? Like, because they need something to talk about. And if you can't find a story, make one.
Make it up. I had read that the B sample stuff, it is a private matter. It doesn't have to be. They could have got it 6 weeks ago, the B sample back, and got a result one way or the other. They don't legally have to release that information at all. The club doesn't doesn't have to. It's obviously if he gets a ban and that's announced, then it's kind of common sense what's happened there. But as it stands, we don't know if the club have even got that B sample back because, again, they don't legally have to tell us. Obviously, they have to tell us if he's banned, but we don't know. Who knows? And the other news was AC Milan could offer us Rafael to get Felix on a permanent deal. This is from Calcio Mercato. Don't know. The source isn't the best. I think this is a no starter, but we do love a swap deal. We haven't done one yet, but we love making them up. I don't know.
Do you know what I don't like about that? The wording. They could offer us Rafael when he's worth more than Joao Felix.
It's like they're doing us we're doing them a favour. Like,
it'd be like basically them coming to us and going, listen, we'll give you Rafael if you give us Joao Felix and about 70 million.
Well,
you're not giving him Timid and are you? I'm pointing him.
Look, he has said this week that he's joined AC Milan on loan, but if there's a chance to stay beyond this season, I'd be happy. And then he goes on about it's a top European club and he's in love with everything else there. I honestly, he says this during like every period of every club he's joined.
Doesn't he say that everywhere?
He literally said he was so happy to be at Barcelona. It was a dream. He joins Chelsea. It was a dream to be. I think everywhere he goes to join is going to be a dream.
I think he's just happy he can still find a club.
Yeah, when he goes on loan in 2 years' time to Millwall, he'll go, I've dreamt of living in, being in Millwall. Of course you have. No, you won't. Come on. Oh, Hull. Send him to Hull. That's what I'd like. Oh, right. Okay. Not much news. I really pushed the boat out, but, we have a news section, so. Kingsmeadow Corner. Chelsea took on. Why have I took on Aston Villa in the WSL? We didn't play Aston Villa in the WSL.
No, that was last week.
Yeah,
we behind.
I've wrote everything else out correct, but we took on Leicester, and we won. We won. No, we didn't.
Everton.
Fuck me. See,
we're so professional on this.
Really
podcast.
professional. I'm sleep deprived. Let me off.
Yeah, that's fair. To be fair, yeah, Mikey hasn't slept.
Yeah, Chris, we took on Leicester, didn't we? You were there. So can you let us know what happened? Because clearly I know nothing about what happened.
Good game, good performance. Conceded a freak goal.
Olympico. I loved it.
Straight from a corner. But the reaction was good. This team never panics, and you can feel it in the stadium. When we win a goal down, there's no panic or nervousness. You're just waiting for the inevitable, really. And Ashley Lawrence, who I thought was brilliant all game, won a penalty. Macario put it away. And then a bit of individual brilliance, really, from Ramirez, who had a bit of a mixed bag day, to be fair, because she had the header that hit the post later in the game, but Hamano tapped in. So she had a hand in that goal. And she scored a brilliant goal to put us in the lead right on the stroke of half time with the little lob over the keeper. But there was a really bizarre one not long after Everton had scored, where she was through 1-on-1, about 6 yards from the goal, and she just decided not to shoot. which was really weird. But she's always a handful. Watching her live, you can see that defenders are just that petrified of her. So the only Kira Walsh as well. Thought Kira Walsh was excellent. Like another one. When you can watch her live and you can just focus on her, the way she uses the ball is so intelligent. And she hasn't been here long, but you can see she's already so crucial to the way that we play. Just keeps it ticking over, transitions the ball from the defence into the attack really well. The only negative really was Bjorn getting injured. Yeah, but she was walking around after signing autographs and stuff. So
that's something.
I'm hoping it's not that serious. But yeah, really good day. Atmosphere was really good. Through to the next round, still unbeaten.
Yeah,
not much more to say really.
Yeah, I mean, I had a quick fire winner. Well, I've got 3. I had mentality because we went 1-0 down. What a goal! Olympico it's always special, and of course, Holmgaard, Danish talent. Well, but look, the team didn't shrink, didn't panic. You perfectly described it, Chris. We just trusted ourselves. It paid off, and Maya Ramirez. I mean, that goal was just that's talent to know what you're about to do. Calm, saw the keeper off the line, didn't rush it. No, trust herself, timed it perfectly. Honestly, when we had Sam Kerr get injured and we were panicking, we brought in Ramirez. It's like we just have the best attack force. We're incredible. It's amazing. It's incredible. And you touched on Kira Walsh being individually impressive. I was impressed by the captain performance from Millie Bright. I thought she made some key blocks and clearances throughout the game. But what do you expect, Millie Bright? Standard. That's a standard game for her. And I've got to do it. So the draw is tomorrow. So we don't know, listener, what's going to happen. However, it's on the 8th or 9th of March that FA Cup game will be. So if we get City, it'll be City, 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 City.
Anyone but City.
Yeah, because as we're as of now, we are still scheduled to play Leicester City in the WSL one day after the League Cup final. So that's not been officially postponed yet.
I noticed that earlier.
That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, I fucking hope not. That's insane. But if a part of me really wants City, because it'd just be like the most. I don't know if I'm going to be really hyped by the end of the 5th game or just totally bored of. Can we play someone else?
I reckon it'd be like. In basketball, they do like a best of 7 series or whatever it is. And surely by like game 7, you're all just fed up of watching the same teams play each other.
I mean,
I reckon it must be like that.
But even then, you can usually, whoever's won. You could actually, 4-3 if they do a comeback. We'll see. We'll see. Anything on the game, Berth? Anything?
Yeah, I tell you what, I sort of picked up. Doesn't really have anything to do with the game. Well, I suppose it does. Since when is scoring directly from a corner called an Olympico? Like, when did that start?
I mean, I'm going to hit Google and pretend that I knew about this all along, but it's been around for a while. Because
I feel like it's not ever really been called that. I've always said, they've just scored from a corner. This is gold.
101 years ago. 101 years ago, in 1924, Argentina player. He's dead, so he's not going to be offended.
Let me guess, Mikey. It's called something like Esteban Olympico, and he scored from a corner.
No, not even close. Cesario Onzari, he scored against the reigning Olympic champions Uruguay from a corner kick. Henceforth, the goal being known as Gol Olímpico, Spanish for Olympic goal. Well, there we go. Oh, I thought there was a video underneath of him scoring it, but it's not. It's a different.
Yeah, it just seems like woke nonsense to me, to be honest with you. Like giving names to like a certain type of goal. But
the first time I ever saw an Olympico goal was Macedonia versus England, and that was like 2001-ish.
And I bet you didn't say at that time when you was watching it, "Wow, what an!" Well,
no, I was 8. I was probably just applauding, going, "Goal!"
Exactly, point proven. But yeah, the game itself, it's just a good performance. It's something that you'd expect from this Chelsea team, and You expect nothing less. Millie Bright was very good, I thought. Kira Walsh, again, like Chris said, very impressive. And it's just, there is this inevitability with this side that you just know what's going to happen. And it's something that you haven't seen from a Chelsea team in a long, long time. But yeah, it's just they're just a machine, and it just is seemingly not stopping anytime soon. So yeah, very good performance again.
And I think we forgot as well, another winner from that game was Chris's daughter, because I'm pretty sure that keeps the streak going now, doesn't it? That every game she's seen live, they've won?
Except one.
Oh, was that a cup final?
Yeah, last year's Conti Cup final.
Yeah, but that don't count. That's a cup final. That don't count.
Yeah, don't count because the referee screwed us too, didn't it?
That's true.
Don't really count.
Right. We're bubbling. We're hyped. You know, listener, it's going to be a great positive episode because we're going to head to winners and losers because we took a trip to shop. Chris, it's positive. We're headed to Brighton to take on Brighton. We'll be taking them on again Friday, so that's going to be fun. But hey, let's touch on the first game in the series.
Another away day, another limp performance from Enzo Maresca's Chelsea, gifted an early lead thanks to Bart Verbruggen's howler. You'd think we'd kick on. Well, you'd think wrongly. Instead, we folded like a pack of playing cards yet again. Jorginho Rutter's header levelled things up before Matoma waltzed past Robert Sanchez to complete Brighton's comeback. Chelsea barely put up a fight. Maresca's post-match takeaway from this: now we can focus on the Premier League and the Conference League. How inspiring. How inspiring. With 5 straight winless away games and a squad that looks allergic to urgency, Chelsea's season is slipping away fast, if it was ever really there to begin with. Brighton 2, Chelsea 1. And we kick off with the winners, as always. Who have you got and how many have you got? I found one. Yes. Come on.
I'll be honest with you. I was just about to mention it before that amazing commentary started. This is probably the shittest winners that I've ever had, and it has no relevance to Chelsea or the players that are on the pitch.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
I couldn't pick any. I couldn't pick any players. There's no way I could pick any players.
Do you know what? I've only got one winner as well, and I think it's going to be very similar, if not exactly the same, to what Berth's about to say.
Wow. You know what? I'll drop in my winner. I've got Mauricio Pochettino. Because I would say, don't try to tell me that last season was worse than this. I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying worse than this.
Yes. Yeah,
I mean, he dragged us to a cup final and a semi-final with half the squad held together by physio tape. And we didn't get a free pass. I've seen some people claim that. No, we obviously some of these teams are better than the others, but we had Preston, Villa, Leeds, and Leicester before. Obviously, we lost to City in the FA Cup in stoppage time. And Villa and Leeds are never pushovers. Villa especially. Come on, remember Villa last year. And Leeds is literally a derby for us, it feels like, because of the history we have with Leeds. They always make a tough game for us. League Cup, for me, same story. We had Wimbledon, Brighton, Blackburn, Newcastle, Middlesbrough. And remember, we were 1-0 down to Middlesbrough. And then, obviously, we had a last-minute heartbreak against Liverpool in the final. And why is he still a winner? Because he went off to manage the USMNT for $6 million a year. Fair play. He saw a mess with the ownership and he hit the eject at the perfect time. Because again, some people on social went, he got sacked. No, he didn't. Check the statement. He didn't get sacked. He mutually agreed. Both of them went, this isn't working. He didn't get sacked.
Yeah.
Berth, you teased us. I want to know who's your winner. What is your winner?
I've just gone Plymouth.
Oh. I thought you were going to say WrestleMania. I don't know why. I expected WrestleMania.
No, WrestleMania's April, Mikey.
Oh, well, I don't watch wrestling, so I just took a shot. I took a shot.
But if I was on last week, I would have said the Royal Rumble for sure. But I had to just name... I've said Plymouth and I've said the magic of the Cup because I think actually all round the FA Cup was very, very watchable this weekend, and every game I watched, there was very entertaining games, and I think Plymouth just put in a fantastic performance and was far away better than anything we could have produced this weekend. So I had to name him as a winner, to be honest. And
they did have Eden's cousin in goal. So
they did, Connor Hazard, big shout out to him because what a game he had. And you know what? Shout out to the Plymouth centre back who lost a tooth in the first half and somehow managed to keep playing and just head every single ball that came his way. Fair play.
Bloody hell. What about you, Chris?
Almost exactly the same. I've just got the FA Cup because I've got Brighton not just out. You wouldn't call it a giant killing, but it's one of the bigger teams going out still. Plymouth knocking out Liverpool, Leyton Orient nearly knocking out Man City. It's the first time the FA Cup's felt like an FA Cup for a long time.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, you got a point. I was just looking at the fixtures that went. There was a lot. Yeah, you know what? Burnley beating Southampton. That's that's embarrassing. I mean,
yeah, for Burnley, only 1-0, isn't it?
I was going to say it's not for Burnley because they're a better team than
Southampton dominated that game in the possession and everything else. But hey,
well, they're the real winners then, because that's all what matters.
Yes.
What sums up Southampton is they sold their best striker to Baggies. That's the level they're at. That is the level they are at.
Oh well, that was kind of
that's the winners anyway. Yeah,
that was the winners.
That's the winners out the way.
Yeah. So we're back to this. We're back. I mean, can we go?
Oh no, we suck again.
Oh, losers. I mean, I've got. Did I have 4? Let me just check. I have 4.
I've got 4.
Yeah. Birth
might moan, but I can't.
You know, I can't even moan this week. I've gone 3 just because I like to stick to the 3 rule. But
I could have found 8.
Oh yeah, I could have probably put 10 in, to be honest with you.
I want to rush in because I've got Maresca.
Yeah, he's on mine. Yeah.
We might all have different reasons or similar. I've got him as a big loser from this game because just actually, you know what? Just for the post-match quote alone. And I touched on it in the little commentary, the summary. If there is something good after a defeat, it is that we can be focused on the Premier League and the Conference League. Now, can you just imagine Mourinho, Conte, or Ancelotti coming out with that after and it was an embarrassing loss. No way. No. I mean, it's the quickest way to lose the support of Chelsea fans. And honestly, I genuinely think the tide turned on him Saturday night. Because usually when I call out Maresca on social media, I get hit with a flurry of replies telling me why I'm wrong. And okay, fair enough. That's what it's a debating platform. This time, silence. Silent. It was quiet. Not a single person argued when I said that he wasn't an upgrade on Poch. I mean, I don't need a maths degree to work out what that means. I'm getting the vibe that a lot of the fan base has had enough. And that quote alone, sometimes it's better to just keep quiet.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all good saying that quote if you go and beat Brighton 3 or 4-0 on Friday, but we're not going to. So what's?
It's just weird. We're going to be. I don't think I've ever heard a Chelsea manager, not even Potter.
Thing is, what really annoys me is I can see that if you're focusing on the Europa League conference or whatever and the Premier League. We've got a different squad for the Europa Conference, so what?
Yeah,
I don't see what the point is in focusing on that when we could have just.
Also, there is no one who was put in winning the Europa Conference League above the FA Cup.
No.
So that makes it an even stupider comment because at this point, winning the Conference League should be a given. We should win that competition. I mean, with the way that we're playing, I'm not convinced that we will, but we should win that competition and it wouldn't even be noteworthy.
It's like a lose-lose, isn't it? If you win it, okay.
Exactly. Because we shouldn't be in it, let's be honest. When you look at our sort of cost of squad compared to the rest of I'm pretty sure our squad costs more than the rest of the competition combined. So, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I've got Maresca in there. One for the comment after. I mean, again, I just think managers sometimes just say nothing that would be better. Refuse to go to the press conference because if you're going to come out and say stupid shit like that, you're making it's like we've lost and then you've come out and kicked me in the bollocks just to top it off.
Can I do that though, Chris? Can I actually physically do that? Or?
No, not at the minute.
Okay, fair enough.
But I've also got him because, I mean, tactically, what did we do? We did the same thing we've been doing the entire run. Did he try and tweak it in the second half when we went 2-1 down on like the 56th minute? More than enough time to get back in the game. Did he try something new tactically? No, did he bollocks? He just made like for like subs. The same people coming off and the same people coming on again. Oh, I'll take off Dewsbury Hall. I'll bring on Enzo Fernandez. Is he going to do anything different? Probably not. I'll take off Neto. I'll bring on Madueke. Is he going to do something different? No. Like, try something new. Like, I don't understand why he just keeps the persist, and then him keep saying about we're better now than we was 2 months ago. I don't know whether he's trying to convince us or himself that that's true, because it isn't.
It might work because he convinced us we weren't in a title race and it came true.
And do you know what? I think you're seeing the fruits of that now. I think we look like a team who's got nothing to play for. Because all he kept doing was telling these players, you can't win stuff. You're not ready to win stuff. So they've gone, oh, okay then. And there's no urgency. There's no intensity. There's no competitiveness. The players look bored to death, devoid of ideas. Do you know what? It's a real concern at the minute. Like not just from Maresca's side, but as a whole club, this is the closest I think we've ever been to becoming Spurs.
It's weird though. It's weird though because for like the first 3 months of the season, we were brilliant. It's really strange.
But I did hear someone say earlier, actually, another Chelsea fan having a rant on TikTok, mainly about Maresca, saying that actually, when you look at it, was the start of the season just riding the wave that Poch had left us, and now they've actually fell into Maresca's way of playing. We've got worse.
Yeah. I do love, whenever I say something, anything positive about Poch, I could say, I liked his hair today. He styled it nice. Someone will join, oh, here comes the Poch revolutionism. I'm like, I'm just saying,
If you remember, though, earlier in the season when we was playing well, I think all of us at one point said it was very Poch-esque the way we was playing. It was we didn't have the ball all the time. We was playing quick on the counter attack. There was lots of transitions in the game. That was what we was doing at the back end of last season under Poch. And now we've gone more possession dominant. We are absolutely shit.
Yeah. Berth, who's your first loser?
I haven't put Maresca because I knew you'd put Maresca.
Yeah, fair.
I've gone for Christopher Nkunku.
I've got him.
If anyone ever tells me that Nicholas Jackson shit again, I will scream. Yes, he's not. He is not the best finisher in the world. We all know that. Anyone who has a brain can see that. But what he will give you, he will be a handful for 90 minutes. He'll run into channels. He's not lazy. He'll press. He'll hold up the ball. Everything that Christopher Nkunku doesn't do.
Yeah.
Nkunku, arguably, is probably a better finisher, no doubt. But overall, Jackson gives you more for this team, and we play much better when Jackson's our number 9 instead of Nkunku. And that's just a fact.
I mean, honestly, Mikhailo Mudryk is doing more for this club right now than Nkunku is. And that is saying something. That dude's suspended technically. He can't do anything. He can't even get into the training ground. And yet I'd say he's still doing more. I mean, look at this and listen to this. 90 minutes played. He registered. Oh, hang on. Let's get that maths degree out. 0 shot, not one. Forget hitting the target for a minute. He didn't even attempt a shot. I mean, and there's a reason. He spent the whole game strolling around midfield like he was out on a Sunday walk. He didn't press. He didn't threaten. He did absolutely nothing. And I get it. He's not a striker. But if that's the case, first of all, that's on Maresca. Why play him as one? I know, we got injuries. There's no point. Why are you playing a player that you know is guaranteed ineffective in that position? That's just stupidity. End of. But then, again, I look at both sides. Even if you're not a natural striker, you're still a professional footballer. You won the Bundesliga top scorer for a reason. You know when to take a shot. You've proven it. What I saw on the pitch, it wasn't a bad performance. It was quiet quitting. And with our current injury striker injury crisis even, you might say something is better than nothing. Right now, we're getting dangerously close to nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more.
Chris, who's a loser?
I've got just the whole attack. I don't think a single one of our attackers played well. Cole Palmer spent more time as a holding midfielder. than as an attacker. Collecting the ball off the centre backs, passing it forward to players who are worse than him, which is a bizarre tactical setup when you're getting your best player to give it to players who are worse. That makes absolutely no sense. Neto, again, scored a goal last week and everyone went fucking mental that, he's got to start, he's our best right winger. That was Pedro Neto when he starts. He's an impact player.
Yeah, not the best time to shush people. It's like, wait a bit.
He's an impact player. He's better off the bench when legs are tired and games are stretched. When he starts, he's crap. He does nothing. A few runs down the right-hand side, but ultimately he sprints down to the byline, turns around, passes it backwards. Don't do the sprint, mate. No point. Might as well just passed it to Gusto in the first place. Absolutely pointless. And don't even get me started on Jadon Sancho on the other side.
Awful game, wasn't it? Oh, no.
When was his last good game? That 25 million at the minute looks 20 million overpriced.
It's not looking great.
He does nothing. He does nothing in the area of the pitch that actually matters. He has some really nice touches and beats a player on the halfway line, and that's it. As soon as it's in the final third, it's I'm going to shimmy, 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 and roll it backwards. Shimmy, roll it backwards. Am I going to come inside and have a shot? No. I will come inside, beat the defender, but then I'll wait for the next defender, beat him, and end up over on the other side of the pitch where I can roll it to someone 5 yards. That's literally all he does. He's absolutely shit. He does nothing.
This year he's had more digs at Manchester United on Instagram than goals for Chelsea.
The thing is, as well, like there'll be people out there who will bring up his assists, but his entire plan is I'm just going to pass the ball to Palmer as much as possible because he's the one who's most likely to score. So then I'll get an assist. If you look at his assists, they're 5-yard rolled passes to Palmer, and then Palmer does something with it, and everyone goes, "Oh, I got an assist, Sancho." Well, kind of. He gave the ball to the best player, who then did a bit of magic and scored. It's not a great assist, is it? I don't see what people are seeing in him. I see so much support for him online, and I just don't see what people are seeing.
I mean, he got his 3 assists in a row against Bournemouth, West Ham, and Brighton. That was in September. In September, and then he didn't have another assist till Heidenheim on the 28th of November. And then he scored back-to-back games, Southampton, Spurs in the early part of December. And since then, just 1 assist against Palace, 4th of Jan. His last 4 games have been awful. They've not been great.
But as an attacking sort of contingent at the minute, we're just not doing anything. We're not creating good chances. I mean, Maresca coming out again talking about, we had enough chances to win the game. Where? Name them. That's what I wanted the reporter to say. I want a reporter when he says that to go, okay, name them.
Yeah,
Tell me
that'd
the
be good.
exact chances you're talking about, because we had 1 shot on target, and that was in the 4th minute from Cole Palmer from the edge of the box that the keeper tipped over. That he should save. Let's be fair. It's not a world-class save. He's tipped it over the bar from straight down the middle of the goal. That was our only shot on target in the entire match.
Yeah.
So what are the chances he's talking about?
Yeah. Berth, who's your second?
Again, it's hard to narrow it down, really. I've just gone for the defence / goalkeeper because...
Who was in goal?
Well, I think we all know who's in goal.
It wouldn't be my man. Wouldn't be the Jorgenort. No, he wouldn't have done that.
No, the only positive I took from him going in goal, and I mean it's a real slight little positive, is that I'm hoping that means Jorgensen's now the Premier League goalkeeper.
Yeah, it does look that way, doesn't it?
But, I mean, we just seem... we need a new centre-back. We need a new keeper. We just get carved through every single game. It doesn't look like any of them are comfortable on the ball. I don't think Kukre's been great for a couple of games now.
I agree.
When Gusto hasn't been himself this season, Rob Sanchez has just the weakest wrist in the Premier League. I never feel confident when the ball is when an attacking team is going forward. I just feel like we're going to concede every single time. I like Trev. I do like Trev, but again, it's not. Yeah, it looks so weak at the back at the moment, and it's just we're going to concede every game. It's just something I've grew to it's a bit screwed to like it's part of my life now that we're going to concede. So yeah.
Oh no. Right, so I'll go with my third loser. Standards. Standards. I tried to do it in my classic Mike fashion. A bit of fun. It's not too negative. I've said I can't be too negative. The standard is the standard. That's a classic Mike Tomlin quote. And since I often see football through an NFL lens, it sums up what Chelsea used to be. You know, it's all about what was that? What does that mean? To me, it means it's maintaining high performance and accountability. That's something I feel we've lost. We've completely lost it because we went 1-0 up against a team that had just been torn apart 7-0. Torn apart. And what did we do? Chris, you touched on it. We did absolutely nothing. Nothing. One shot on target for the rest of the game. That alone is disturbed. One, really? And then obviously you said Maresca goes, "Oh, we had one shot." And I've got to say, can we talk about just how mind-numbingly boring it was? It was stagnant. It was predictable. You can tell by my voice, zero excitement. And this is so accurate. As soon as Brighton took the lead from Matoma, I turned to my girlfriend and I just said to her, "We won't score again. This team might as well walk off the pitch now." And I was right. Because we weren't creating, we weren't shooting. It was done. Game was over.
But do you know, to me, it felt like the second leg of a knockout game when you've won the first leg 6-0.
Oh
yeah.
And you know, everyone's just there because they have to be. And even though Brighton scored to make it 2-1, we was never in danger of going out. So it doesn't really matter. We'll conserve energy. Didn't feel like a cup tie. Honestly, didn't feel like the players give a fuck at all. Even at full time, there was no reaction to going out. Players just sort of, walking off. I did see a thing as well that only one player went over to the away fans, and I think it was Tosin was the only player to go over and clap the away fans. It's not great. It's not great when you've just gone out the cup to Brighton.
And it's the manner of the performance. It was
the performance is dreadful. The way we play at the moment is boring as fuck. It's football you wouldn't want to watch.
No, that's what I said, and I was not shocked. I mean, I always expect a little bit of kickback on Twitter because it's a lovely platform. But when I said that, I should have really had it ready. Where did I put it? I'll put, is it just me or Chelsea really boring to watch? 1,000 likes and 104 responses. And honestly, if I just scroll through randomly, really, really boring, robotic shite, awful to watch. We have been for ages. Boring, mate. Haven't watched them in years. We had one good spell where we played fast football. The rest was too slow and dull to watch. 2 months ago, we were good. Then all of a sudden, we looked awful. I slept through the first half. First 10 minutes were good. The rest of it, no. Yeah, there you go. I'm not the only person. A lot of the fan base go, "This is boring." It's Sarri ball. It's Sarri ball, isn't it?
But to be fair, this is exactly what I said in the summer when people was excited about Maresca and saying, "I'll give him a chance." This is why I didn't want him. I don't want a possession-based manager. Possession-based football is fucking boring. No team that dominates the ball is really good to watch because it's boring.
Yeah. I do apologise. I don't have the listener's name who sent this to me. So if it was you, shout out to you. But they'd sent me a "We Ain't Got No History" article, and it had about the pros and cons of Maresca. And this was the one, the con. And they put boring football. And they put, "This one is more of a personal choice, but some Leicester fans found Maresca's rigid, extremely possession-focused football quite boring. Similar complaints have been made about Guardiola over the years as well, of Maurizio Sarri, as we might remember one team slowly breaking down the other with a series of short passes. However intricate, does not seem fun to a lot of people, including yours truly. Possession football often feels like a python slowly constricting its prey rather than something fun. Of course, some people might enjoy it, but it will definitely be a shock to go from Poch chaos ball to Maresca ball." Wow, how bloody true.
Do you know what? It is true, and I don't know whether you agree, Berth, but if you take Man City as an example with Pep, I think Pellegrini's Man City and Mancini's Man City was better to watch as a neutral than any of Guardiola's Man City teams have been.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I think, but I think it's just modern day football these days. I think a lot of teams
Yeah, you are right.
look at Arsenal. They're so boring to watch under Arteta. Not over the past 3 years. I won't say I've watched an Arsenal game and gone, wow, they've been good. I know they've just smashed City 5-1 or whatever it was, but I've not watched them and gone, wow, these are really fun to watch. I think the only team you could argue that have been relatively okay to watch is probably Liverpool over the past couple of years. But football as a whole, it's very rare that you get a team now play exciting football. I think we did last year under Poch, but I think that's due to just us being very vulnerable in midfield and the back. Spurs are fun to watch because they're just shit. But you look at your Bournemouth and Fulham and Brighton to a certain extent, you think, well, they're really good to watch. But is that because they've got a young, exciting team who break on the counter? Not as Forest, again, they're very much a counter-attacking team. Are they fun to watch because that Nuno's just adapting to what the players he's got? So football's gone a really weird and sort of almost stale route. I feel sort of the excitement has gone with this possession-based football.
You know what's funny? Guardiola's only registered 100-plus goal season in his time, and yet before that they were registering 100, 102, 106 under the other managers. I mean, you know, funnily enough, you're saying about how football's gone. Chris, I saw it on the stream. Everton were playing out from the back yesterday as well. And they weren't very good at it, but they kept doing it. And it's like, well, and I said in the Discord, I said that when I think it was another Chris had said, "Oh, how will we get into this?" I said Everton will gift us an opportunity because they keep playing out from the back and they're fucking shit at it. But that seems to be the new thing. It's like we'll jump on that bandwagon. And yeah, I personally find possession football boring. I think a lot of people do. I would rather watch counter-attacking style football every day because you might concede a lot of chances, but you're excited, and at the end of the day you do pay to be entertained. That is part of football. You want to win, but you also want to be entertained.
I think the problem is, though, I think from a neutral perspective, you always want to watch counter-attacking football because that's the best, that's the most fun to watch. But as a fan of a football team, whilst I hate that possession-based play, if we was to win the league, I wouldn't give a shit what sort of play, but we're not, and that's the problem. Someone good playing shit football and winning like Mourinho did for years. That's brilliant. It was brilliant because it was just a shithouse way of winning, and it really wound people up. But when you're not winning, it is so frustrating because it's nothing. It just drains you. There's no positivity. It's just all negative, and it's just. You're not looking forward to watching them play, and that's the problem.
Well, you also hear the fans boo every time we make a sideways pass after many.
And there's no atmosphere, is there, when it's boring to watch? There just isn't.
Chris,
and that's the thing. Sorry, it's just, last season, although a lot of our games we didn't have a lot of control over, and they was more like basketball games, like we'll have a go, you have a go. It was just waves of different attacks, really. That does get fans involved. Yeah. And then that does create an atmosphere. And although, yes, you're probably not going to win a league by doing that, we're nowhere fucking near winning a league anyway. So I'd rather, if we're going to only finish in the top 6, I'd rather watch us play like that and finish in the top 6 than play this absolute turgid football and maybe instead of finishing 5th, we'll finish 4th. Great. Wow. Yeah. What a season to remember.
Yeah. Chris, who's another loser for you?
Malo Gusto.
Like a neutered kitten.
Thought he was dreadful. Got ripped apart by Matoma. Yeah. Done absolutely nothing going forward. He's not allowed to be fair, because
that's what I mean.
We hate attacking fullbacks. Can't stand them. Absolutely hate them.
That's why I said neutered kitten. He's got nothing. Last season, exciting, full of life. Now it's like
it's so funny because we've brought in a new manager over the summer. And how many of our players would you say this season have actually increased in value?
None.
Not many. If you had to pick some out, you probably could find a couple, but there aren't many. And I tell you what, a lot of them have gone backwards. I mean, Malo Gusto, at the end of last season, we was talking about him being in arguments for best right back in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
This season, I don't even think he. At the minute, he looks like a player who he'd struggle to get in Southampton's team. So that's how far he's regressed because he's not being allowed to use his main attributes. He is an overlapping fullback. That's what he is. And if you don't want an overlapping fullback, surely you knew that when you come in the summer. You looked at Malo Gusto and went, well, he doesn't suit how I play. Tell someone. Because we love selling people anyway. So he could have gone out on loan, couldn't he? He could have gone to Strasbourg with everybody else.
Yeah.
So, why keep a player that so clearly you can't use? Or why be so stubborn as to have a player who has those attributes, who can be effective in this league and refuse to use him just because it doesn't suit what you want to do? But what you're doing isn't working. Like you said, Berth, it's fine having a way of playing if you're winning. But when you're not winning and you've got a player who's a really good overlapping fullback, maybe you'd think, well, hold on, let's change up what we're doing. Let's get him more involved because last season he was really effective and just give it a go for a game. I mean, what have you got to lose? We're losing anyway. It's a shame for him. I don't think he was good enough himself in terms of what he was doing off the ball, especially as a defender. Like whether you're being asked to go forward or not, that doesn't change. But I feel sorry for him because I think he was a player who had the potential to be a top level Premier League right back. And I don't think he'll ever reach it now while Maresca's here.
You saying about what players increased in value? I'd say which players has Maresca improved? I don't think any.
No,
I don't think he's improved a single player.
I mean, you could even argue that Cole Palmer under Poch was better.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
100%
Now, of course,
better.
you could say that now people are putting two people on him, doubling men up on him. So there is that element. But I would expect someone to be improved. I haven't seen anyone who's improved.
You know what it is with Palmer? What I would liken it to. Last year, the Palmer we had was Grealish at Villa. And this year, the Palmer we've got is Grealish at City.
Yeah.
Not allowed to be expressive, not allowed to do anything, has to occupy certain areas of the pitch, has to make certain passes at certain times, has to be involved in this, has to be involved in that. Just fucking let him play.
But
you know what, though?
You know what, though? It's a good job Palmer still does that to a certain extent, because if he didn't, he wouldn't. Sometimes you just know Cole Palmer's just done what he wants. That's why he's got the goals and assists he's got. And if he didn't, 100%. Then we'd be, fucked this season, really.
Yeah.
Berth, who's your final loser?
I've gone Cucurella. I know Chris
fair.
I'm going to go Cucurella. I mentioned him a minute ago. I just don't think he's quite been the same past 3-4 games. Poor. I think for me at the minute, he's really on the floor way too much for me as a fullback. He's starting to frustrate me with it, and I can see why rival fans hate him, and I can see why people don't like him, because he just hate it when Bruno Fernandes just rolls on the floor, and now Cucurella's doing it, and we're losing, and he's not playing well. I'm just like, get up, just get up. You know what I mean? I don't mind the shithouse when we win. Again, it goes back to the thing. I don't mind it when we're winning. When we're losing, it frustrates me.
Yeah, I thought after about sort of 15, 20 minutes, it looked to me like being back at Brighton had got to him.
Yeah,
the fans was booing him, weren't they, every time he touched the ball? And it seemed like he took that personally and wanted to prove a point, so sort of overplayed in a way.
Yeah, but look how many times he lost the ball. Look how many times he was out of position.
I mean.
You are right. But that hasn't just happened this game. It's happened the past couple of games. He's been out of position a lot. He's been rash. I don't think he's been good on the ball. He's always been a bit of a liability past couple of games. I do like Cucurella, and I think he's been very good for us for the most part. But past couple of games, he's really stood out for not being good, and that's a concern for me.
I'll drop my final one. Sporting directors. I'm not aiming. I'm not taking pot shots. I'm just being. Look, many have a problem with them, and I get that. But a problem is something you can solve. What they are is an issue right now. Many people say that, look, what we have here is an issue because it's a deep-rooted structural mess that no quick fix can undo. And we've seen that straight away with Mark Yu and being injured. We've got no striker other than Jackson. And they came in with their spreadsheets, their multi-club model talk, and the big ideas about the future. And yet somehow they've managed to make our squad building look like a game of Football Manager being played on just random. We've spent obscene amounts of money, yet we don't have a functioning striker. Our midfield balance is non-existent, and our depth in key areas, striker, is laughable. And the worst part, which I find it just sucks so much, is there's no accountability. There's no real vision. And it's just like we've got a bunch of guys throwing darts at a board and calling it a long-term project. Because again, standards. We used to be a club that set the standard. We're just an expensive experiment now about what not to do.
You are absolutely right. And again, I think a few of us said about this during the summer when they kept throwing the word project around. I always have alarm bells ring when people start talking about a project, because for me, I've never heard a successful club talk about a project. I've only ever heard of them talk about what's happening right now. I've never heard Real Madrid come out and go, "Oh, it's a project, 5-year project." Yeah. They win now, and they'll worry about next year. Man City, even when they brought Guardiola in, never called it a project. They never said, "Oh, it's a project. We're going to see how he goes over the next 3-4 years." No, you're bringing him in to win now, aren't you? And he didn't do that in his first year. So they gave him a load of money and went win this year. And I'm telling you now, if he'd finished 4th again, I don't think he would have been there, because it wasn't a project. Even when Liverpool brought Klopp in, they still didn't use the word project. And they was finishing like 8th at the time. It still wasn't our project. The only clubs who talk that sort of shit are Tottenham, Arsenal, clubs who don't win anything. They talk about a project, well, in 5 years we'll be good. Well, they said that 3 years ago. We're only 2 years away now.
Yeah.
From the 5-year cut-off point. Do we look like being successful? No. We're actually getting further away from success, I would say. So what happens next year when we're a year away? Again, they'll go, "Oh, in 5 years we'll be good." Well, no, you said that 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can't just keep pushing the deadline down the road and wait until we have that 1 year where we're successful, then come out and go, "See, we told you." It's like the Daily Mail keep telling us every year that we're having snow, and then come out and gloat when it happens once every 15 years. It's ridiculous. You don't talk about a project, because top level sport, you can't plan that far ahead, because there's so many factors that change. The landscape of football changes, like Berth was saying earlier about how, it's all about possession-based football now. So you bring in a manager who's all about possession-based football. You build a whole team for possession-based football. And then next year, everyone starts playing counter-attack. And you think, "Oh, for fuck's sake, got to change everything again." That's why projects don't work. Football's an ever-changing landscape, and you just have to roll with it. And that's why Abramovich was so good. That's why we were so good for 20 years, because there was no long-term planning. It was about what's happening now. What do we need now to be successful? We need a strong, powerful core of players. So big, tall, strong players. Your Drogbas, your Costas, SENs, Ivanoviches, Terrys, Cahills. We need them to be successful. That's how you're successful. Okay, buy a load of them. Yeah. When that went out of style, we brought in people like Oscar, Willian, Juan Mata, Hazard, because it was becoming more of a technical based game, and we just rolled with the changes. You can't plan 5 years in the future. It's fucking stupid.
You know what's funny? I saw a lot going, "Look, we hiring and firing doesn't work." I'm like, we did it for 20 years. And you might think, "Yeah, but Mourinho we fired, got Ancelotti, blah, blah, blah." If we ignore one, we didn't win Scolari, didn't we? But anyway, and we fired him. So let me just say this. Did we happen to win the Champions League because of Lampard? No, we fired him because we weren't doing good enough. We got Tuchel and we won the Champions League. Now, that it still works. I'm not advocating for any firings of Maresca yet, but I'm just saying that the system didn't stop working. It still works. So, and if you want to be depressed, I read that apparently I didn't read it. It was on another podcast from The Athletic. And they said that the new idea will still be, we're not going to be going for, the experienced, high profile world-class level of player over like 27. That's the impression they've been given. Then we're screwed then, because you're not going to have another kid come in and suddenly, oh, look, it's Cole Palmer, but as a striker. It won't happen. It won't happen. That's why I don't think we'll actually sign Kobel from Dortmund. Because I don't know how old he is, but I'm pretty sure he's not 23. He's 27.
No,
he's too old then.
Yeah.
He's too old.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
and he'll be 28 come December of this year.
But
So
then,
that's, you know.
but then I think that's where fans lose hope, and that's where you see the shit atmospheres.
Yeah. 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 Chris, you've got one loser left, I think. Who is it?
Caicedo.
Again, a former Brighton player.
Yeah.
Sadly, I actually think he was one of our better players, but yeah, I'm not saying he had a good game.
I felt sorry for him because he was playing in midfield by himself. Because having Dewsbury Hall next year is, I mean, you might as well have a wedding venue because it'll do about as much as Dewsbury Hall does in terms of playing football. But I thought what summed his game up was when Ruter chipped it over his head in the middle of the pitch and ran away. And I thought he was just another one I feel sorry for because he's being run into the ground. When's he going to get a rest? Because he can't play 90 minutes every game. It's stupid. And at the moment, it looks like he's going to have to play 90 minutes every game, every competition. It's going to end in tears, and we are going to lose one of our best players through injury just because we haven't got anyone else to play.
It's almost like clearly Maresca and our ownership didn't listen to the last episode of At the Bridge Pod, because if they had have, they would have known that apart from obviously there not being a UK number one in the 20s or the 30s when we last played Brighton in the FA Cup, they would have known about Jorginho Rutter. I did bring him up. I did. And
you did?
No. And what happened? He scored and he was very impressive.
And got an assist.
Yep, he was impressive. We'll sign him in the summer. I don't know how old he is, but we'll sign him.
He is young.
You know what? I would actually buy Ruter as well. I think he's a very good player.
He's 22. Sign him up. Oh no, he'll be 23 in April this year.
No, too old.
Too old. Right. Right. So emojis. I'm so sorry, Chris. I've gone with a shrug because it was like same story.
Fair.
Oh.
I'll put the laughing emoji because that's what all I could do. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. So.
Yeah, that's
Chris.
Fair. I've gone with the red flag because there's so many red flags around our players, our manager, and our club in general at the minute.
That's a bloody good question. You know what? Talking of, I said a bloody good question, but I am ready. I'm prepped for Quaresma's questions because I've got a lot. So. Oh dear, Davidoff 10. If Maresca was to go, what is everyone's replacement ideas? Fuck knows.
Dog and Pheasant Sunday League manager.
Yeah, you're not going to get what you want. We're all looking at a big name. We ain't getting a big name. We'll get a project manager. We'll get Kieran McKenna.
We'll get Iriola. That's my prediction. We'll get Iriola from Bournemouth.
What about Nuno?
No.
Do you know what? I honestly don't know because
I don't know what the answer is.
No, whenever you talk about people potentially getting sacked, you always get the supporters of that manager being like, well, who would you replace him with? Well, I don't know, do I? Because if it was my decision, it'd be completely different to what these clowns who are running the club are going to do. The whole reason why I'm not that bothered about whether Maresca gets sacked or not is because I don't trust who they'd bring in. Because it would be someone stupid. It'd be like the Brighton manager, who's I think he's younger than me. So.
Most people are, mate. So
yeah. It'd be him, or it'd be Iriola who's having one good season at Bournemouth, or it'd be some nobody from Real Sociedad. You know what I mean? It'd just be something stupid again. So I'm not that bothered whether he gets sacked or not because I just think the direction the club's gone in now is just set us up to fail regardless of who you put in charge.
Real Sociedad's manager is Imanol Aguash. I can't pronounce that properly.
We'll get him then just to.
I'll tell you what, his career's good. He managed Real Sociedad Youth. He then took up a job at Real Sociedad B as an assistant. He then took over at Real Sociedad B again. And then he was made the interim manager of Real Sociedad, the main team. Goes back to Real Sociedad B. And then he was permanently made the Real Sociedad manager.
Wow. Plenty of experience.
Great of experience there. You know what? There was a really good question we had sent in on Twitter from Ayush. and it was who were the first 3 players you'd replace at the club? I'd get rid of Sanchez.
Robert Sanchez.
Robert Sanchez,
He's
obviously.
Um,
That's a
Jadon Sancho.
no. We're finishing above 14th.
nah, for me, I'd straight away I'd get 2 world-class centre backs in.
Yeah, but who are you replacing? You got to kick 2 out. That's the whole point of the question, really.
Tosin.
He's the oldest player we got.
Yeah.
Too old. Got to bring the age squad down.
Tosin and all right, and I'll pick.
I'm just looking at our team now, just to sort of.
Yeah, Tosin, and you know what? Might be controversial. Colwell.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't blame you. I would be Robert Sanchez, obviously.
Yeah.
Wesley Fofana.
Oh.
Don't play. So
yeah,
I don't. You can't miss something we ain't got.
And Dewsbury Hall for me.
And
yeah, but I feel like I sort of went for just starting 11 players. Really, I think you two are having a cop out here. I think you two.
Wesley Fofana literally was our starting centre back.
Yeah, what, for 3 games?
So is Romeo Lavia, who again on Sky Sports, a rare L. I will stand by that when they went. He could be the best in his position. He doesn't play. I'm sorry, you can't pick him. He doesn't play.
If you won't give me Sancho, because we're only going to have to sign him in the summer, unfortunately.
I'll give you Sancho, Chris. I'd be happy with Sancho.
Madueke.
Whoa, bloody hell!
We are gonna catch some rain.
Sanchez, Fofana, and Dewsbury Hall for me. What?
Bear in mind though, that the question was replace. So
yeah.
if I'm saying. And like Berth saying get rid of Colwell, he's not saying get rid of him and bring in no one. He's saying get rid of him and bring in someone world class.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So no one's going to miss Colwell if we brought in someone world class, are they?
No. That's what I mean. Like we need 2 world class centre backs. That's where we need to improve. That's who I'm going to take out because he starts for us along with Tosin or Fofana when he's fit.
Yeah. I fully back that. Just looking at our squad now, it's like so. How have we spent all that money?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's like buying a new kitchen, but you haven't built the house yet. Yeah. What have we done? Oh, well, at least we're going to wrap up today's show with an end of show game, guessing the player by their career path. Listener, if you're new, welcome first. Really positive episode. We tried to add some humour to it, but they've got the 2 lads. They've got to guess who the player is, and I read them basically their club history from Wikipedia, and they have to guess who it is. So today's theme, you can tell this was from last week. I had it in January sales. So we just had the January transfer window, and today I've got 3 players who all have famously moved during the month of January in their careers. Famously moved. So the first player started their career at AC Milan before going on loan to Dijon. And then they liked France, so they went on loan to Lille. They really liked France because then they went on loan to Monaco. They bloody loved France because they went to Saint Etienne.
Ooh.
And for some reason went to Saint Etienne too after Saint Etienne. I don't know why.
Go on, give me the next one. But I think I know it.
He went from Saint Etienne 2 to Borussia Dortmund.
Got it. Got it. It's Aubameyang.
It is because he goes to Arsenal, Barcelona, Chelsea, Marseille, and Al Qadisiyah. Don't know if that's a Saudi Arabian club. No, I don't think it is. Is it?
Cares?
Yes. He famously moved to Arsenal in 2018, January window. Next player. Started their career at Arsenal before moving to Fulham on loan. They then moved to Bristol City on loan before moving to Bristol City permanently. Big move now. They've gone to Newcastle. Big move. But then they make their January move. I'll be a bit fair on this one because it's a player further back. So Ollie would have been screwed. But they've moved from Newcastle to Man United. They then moved to Blackburn Rovers.
Is it Blackburn? Is it Dwight York?
It's not.
No, it's not Dwight York. It's not Dwight York.
Going from Blackburn, he goes to Fulham.
I know who it is.
He then decides Manchester City, but only for a season. He goes to He goes to Portsmouth.
Sorry, sorry. So he went from. Hold on. Let me just get Newcastle. Where did he go from Newcastle?
To United. Manchester.
I think I might have it.
Go on.
Is it Andy Cole?
Andy Cole moving to United in January of '95.
I thought you said United, but for some reason it didn't clock those like Newcastle, United, Blackburn.
How about this? He goes from Portsmouth to Birmingham City on loan. I remember that. I don't remember the next three. He goes to Sunderland, Burnley on loan, then Forest. I don't remember them three.
Wow.
I don't remember him at Burnley. Good 16-13 at Burnley. No memory of that. So, final...
Whitewash. Incoming Chris here, whitewash.
What a final player started their career at Inter Milan. They went on loan to Vasco da Gama before going on loan to Espanyol. They then make a move to Liverpool.
Got it. Well, I say I've got it.
You're gonna go on.
I think it might be Philip Coutinho.
2013, he's moved to Liverpool January before going to Barcelona, Bayern Munich on loan, Aston Villa on loan, Aston Villa permanently, Al Dual on loan, and now Vasco da Gama on loan. I didn't even know he was on loan at that club. There we go. We learned something.
Chris, look, honestly, it's no shame losing to me at this game. It really is.
In fairness, after yours and Ollie's performance at this game last week, I think you needed to bring the heat today.
Oh, well, that's...
Love it.
That's interesting, Chris. That is interesting.
Listeners, we're at the end of another episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in, because it's not been the best of games recently, haven't we? We're trying to find positive. It's difficult. But, we're proud to remind you, of course, about our partnership with Head in the Game, the mental health charity using football to support well-being and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Thursday because we play Friday with something, maybe ranking all our transfers onto Clear Lake. I'm not even joking, because that seems to be a trend on Chelsea personalities on YouTube. So I was like, we could do it. That's going to be very interesting to see who we put in the top tier. But anyway, we'll find out later. So till then, that will be us signing off.
You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.